Yes. Good morning, Toronto. The man is here, Mr. Audley Timothy. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm cool. Koolbreeze.
Glad to have you here in the Koolbreeze stratosphere.
Man, let me tell you something, man. It's so great to be around this morning listening to this beautiful music, surrounded by all this beautiful music. It's so great.
So you're liking the vibe?
I'm liking the vibes, man. The mix.
Yes.
You know, the variety, the spice of life.
Right
you know,
on.
Gee, it's a very good feeling.
Thank you. But first of all,
yeah.
I'd like to thank my guests who came in last week, Bassman Ian, Skanker Roots, and dub poet Gilbert, for giving an eloquent testimony at Radioregent last week.
Right.
The gentlemen, they were so fascinated by the vibe, the realness, the organic structure we have down here, and they want to come back. So thank you very much for the crew, the mix who came last week at Radioregent. But today we've got Mr. Audley Timothy, and tell us, we're going to talk about the evolution of your music. We're going to talk about your spirituality, your mission and vision, and so on and so forth.
Well, I started to play it at the age of 8 years old.
Okay.
My great uncle played the violin and the quattro and the guitar, several instruments, and the clarinet.
Right.
And I played the guitar, accompanying him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it all started.
Okay.
As I grew up, I started to play with the big bands in the late 50s and the 60s, Johnny Gomez, Choya Ming, and my last band before I left Trinidad for Canada was Ray Sylvester. I played with that band for 6 years. And that is, we're talking about orchestration music.
Right.
You know, composed of two saxes, an alto and a tenor.
Okay.
A trumpet.
Right.
Guitar, most piano and big bass and things like that. And so we played the 32 bars contemporary music.
Right on.
You know, 16 bars, then you get into the intermediate, and then there's a solo for everybody.
Right.
And that's where my soloing evolved.
Right.
You know, because I just didn't play chords only.
Okay.
I also played solo.
Right.
So, you know, when I left Canada, I came here, and of course, my next musical experience here was in London, Ontario.
Okay.
We had a side called the Ashanti.
Okay. I heard that name.
Mixed with some students who were going to school up in Pancho College in London.
All right.
I used to play in the York Hotel pub on Friday nights. Okay. They had to close the doors down because people used to, you know, it was crowded every Friday night. You know, people used to come from Western University in London.
All right.
And there were crowds and jumping on the tables, and everybody, the inspector, police, and everybody used to be down there.
Wow. You
know, enjoy the music down there, man.
Right. Now, you played with some heavyweights down there in Trinidad.
Yes. Oh yes. My first experience with Choya Ming, we were about 18 years old. We flew to Martinique and played there for a couple of days.
Right.
And then from Johnny Gomez, I switched to Choya Ming. Okay. You know, and, we toured all the country.
Right.
We played on the programs too in Trinidad, like the Sunday Serenade program. That's a program every Sunday.
All right.
And then the high neighbor programs in Trinidad. I also played on the road, Carnival, Ray Sylvester. That's the last 2 years before I left. That was in 65 and 66, I think. Yes. At that time we had electronics was to that standard. We could play, we could amplify the guitar on the road. But before that, we had the wind instruments and trumpets and so on, and also the steel band, part of the steel orchestra. So then I joined in the last 2 years, you know, when it was it became available to play the guitar on the road.
All right.
Yeah,
so tell me what's so special about your album, your present album, just released. I've got your first 2 albums.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Well,
I played it on the show and everything.
Yeah. as I'm retired now, I started to do my own thing. You know, it's a one-man thing. You know, it's Koolbreeze. This is a one-man thing. You know, everything you're hearing there is played.
So you drop in the brass, the bass, the
First to
drums.
begin, I compose the music. It comes to my head.
Right.
Through two methods.
Okay.
Either through the chords, feeling through some chords, a rhythm, or it comes the melody comes first, and then I find something to play it over.
Right.
Yeah. But my first album was an experiment with trying to use ethnic rhythms.
Okay.
Ethnic rhythms. When I say ethnic rhythms, rhythms from India, from Africa, from Europe, Italian,
right.
And try to put these. Second album is a sort of continuation. Volume 2 is a sort of continuation of this.
Okay.
But this present album that you asked me about is
right.
It's based on the pop music.
Right.
It's the pop music, the 80s and 90s and things like so you would observe that it has a different lift.
Okay.
that was a Koolbreeze experience.
All right.
A Koolbreeze experience.
I like that.
And I'm hoping that my next album will be a more gospel type of.
Okay.
I'm trying to take some hymns and old hymns like Abide Me and put them or mix them different rhythms.
Right. I just got the album, the CD from you, and sampled all the tracks. There's 15 tracks.
13 tracks.
13.
Yeah.
And from the first 20 seconds as I listened to the song, I know most of them are playable on the radio here with at Radioregent. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
It's different from the last two.
Yes.
So I was managed to grab a couple from. I know my friends love those, the Emperor Fuzzy and some other friends of mine, and they're gonna love this stuff. And if someone was to purchase CD from you, how would they get in? How would they do that?
Oh, we should by my email.
Your email.
That's the fastest thing. Yes.
Okay.
I would know. It's Timothy Audley at gmail.com.
All right.
Common letters.
All right.
Timothy Audley at
gmail.com. All right. So I'll get that. I'll put it up on my website and people get some traffic and each one teach one's help. I grew up with your kids in Toronto.
I know you guys, but anytime you guys come to my home,
exactly.
The piano was always there, music is always there.
Exactly. Your son Dave and Dawn and I went to school together at Vaughanwood Collegiate, and Nick and Bert, we play ball together, and music and so on, and they promote and all this kind of stuff. But I felt like that was my second home because I still feel Mom's cooking. That sweet bread is untouchable. Oh my goodness, and that chicken feet and all this good stuff.
All my kids, man.
And still today,
pleasure.
You still embrace us this way, and I'm honored.
Yes.
To have great company and
very good,
Dave and I, you know how we go down. Dave, we're still tight that way. We play ball together, and we always, the friendship is. You're looking 40 years worth of friendship between Dave and I.
That's it.
And that goes for the Emperor Fuzzy and my Italian buddy Ben and all the other cats, Charlo, and it's just like
you guys had a very good music program there. That school there.
At Vaughan, yes, they did.
Vaughan,
incredible. I used to play the bass, the upright bass. Dave played that as well. And Dawn, I think she played a wind instrument.
Yes, the clarinet.
Clarinet, yeah. So that the musical history is rich.
And the daughter plays the sax now, and the son plays.
Wow.
His son is at York doing his doctoral work in music too.
Right.
Yeah, they all started in the basement there.
Right. That is great.
Yeah.
It is. I remember that when I first saw you at Dave's wedding playing.
Oh yes.
And you were doing the guitar, and I go, wow, you got a bit of George Benson thing in the mix.
Yes.
And that was many years ago, and I always had that print in my mind. And I thought if for some reason I get a radio show one day, I got to get Mr. Audley down in the studio. I have all this thing written in my mind.
Yeah.
I was going to, when I get to Radioregent, I started with the Air Candy show. I got my break with David D. And we've been tight like that. We're same birthdays, March 25th, 2 years apart. And we love music passionately. So I got my break with her. I help her. She helped me at the show and things like that. And when I got the show, I made it my duty, my promise to the people that I was going to take care of the local people, large, medium, and small.
Yes.
From drummers to virtuosos to dub poets to you name it. It's great stories. Musicologists, elders, who can tell stories.
That's it.
From a musical point of view. And make a diversified. I never wanted to be that one-dimensional.
No. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
And I learned that from music in Trinidad because my uncle had a DJ set. And he would play rock, he would play funk, soul, disco, Castilian, you name the music.
Right.
So when I came into the music school at Vaughan, the classical music, and we had to open up our minds and music appreciation.
Yes, yes. And that is where it comes, you know, the experience with the jazz, the classical music.
Right.
You know, the folk music.
Right.
You know, classical music came out of folk music.
Right.
You know, and like the Ninth Symphony, die, 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 die. That's a folk song music.
Yeah.
You know,
and I remember when Dave and I played music in Vaughan, and the teacher said she was very stern, and she said music appreciation. And we just came out of the Caribbean, and we said, what kind of nonsense is this? But that made me appreciate music.
Yes, yes.
Because classical music at the time sounded like something from outer space to me. But no, I could listen to this thing.
Because it's all about simply the feeling, music.
Right.
The definition of music.
Right.
Is music is a feeling.
Right.
Through sound.
Right.
And that is why you see on my CDs.
Right.
From the first track to the next, the last track, you get a feeling, a different feeling. You know, it's different, a variety of rhythms and a variety of melodies.
Right. Harmony.
You know, and harmonies that create a different feelings.
Right.
So I met a guy from England. He was visiting in the Tobago, where I was spending my winters there.
Okay.
I gave him a CD the year before. I met him while I was judging the Panorama competition in Tobago.
Right.
And I saw him last year. This year he came back and he said that he plays his CD, that CD, the first one.
Yeah.
It's number 1, volume 1.
Volume 1.
Every day. He takes passengers to the airport in London, you know, and plays that every day. It's just so relaxing.
Right.
You know, so feedback, I'm getting feedback.
It's good because when I first heard it, I go, Uncle, we call him Uncle T, Audley to Mr. Audley Timothy, we call him Uncle T. And I play this at my place. I have 4 or 5 different stereo DJ sets in my place. But I have this box, it's called it has a car battery built in.
Yeah.
You get 75 hours once you charge. You go any park, you plug any device into this unit.
Wow.
And I like this box. I plug my laptop or my iPod into this thing. And my friends come over and they heard your music and they said, well, wow. Yeah, and we talk about, we evaluate these things. And I said, it's got to get airplayed.
It's just natural that the music comes out mellow.
Yes.
Well, because mellow, relaxing. No matter if it's a fast rhythm or a slow rhythm, you still hear, you still feel that relaxed.
I always remember, I like a lot of jazz. And the great bassist Charlie Mingus once said, and he had a song from his album, You Better Get Hit in Your Soul.
Yes, yes.
As a young fella, and I took that in, and I understand what that guy was saying. Better get hit in your soul.
Feelings. That's what it is.
Music is all about feelings, like I said.
On that album, the second album, Volume 2, there is, I think, a 6-tune meditation.
Okay.
Meditation.
Yes.
That translates into what I'm saying.
Right.
From the calypso you just played, that's a past tune just to this.
Right.
You know, you would feel that, you know, if you could play that, I don't know.
Tell me something. I find a big transition with the music today as opposed to, let's say, 20 years back when artists could really sit down and play instrument in a band, and we seem to be losing that art with the new generation because all they seem to want to have a beat.
That's a very
and
good
go in
question.
there and make a hit and create an album in an evening.
That's a very good question, because that goes back to the philosophy of the arts, or philosophy of musical,
right.
Which is to say that the culture at the time, which comes first, the art or the culture? In this sense,
right.
the culture, because of its experience,
right.
produces the form of art.
Right, right.
It starts with the writer's first, and then it comes into the painters take it up, and the musicians take it up afterwards.
Right.
It explains, it tells the story of the feelings of the culture.
Culture, okay.
I was walking down the streets of Tobago, and there's a poster of a band coming to from Trinidad to play up there in Tobago. When I looked at the poster, I said, well, the guys were bareback, you know, no clothes, you know, and their faces were like they were sort of vexed or mad or something like that, like uptight.
Yeah.
Well, that tells you something about the feeling, something about what's going on in the soul.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, and I always find some of these guys have some good beats, but the moment you start to, if you want to tell about your struggle from the ghetto, that's one thing I could relate to that. But when you start to defame women, and you start to bring all the profanity, and the young generation today, man, they get so poisoned by this.
It's a reflection of the society. It's a reflection of the society.
And then there's this other group that will come in and want to cut a CD in an evening, make a beat, and make $10 million in it.
And they do it.
Yeah. And it's like, and then you have guys that, you have artists who are just grinding out the creative structure that barely can put two dimes together. And it's a reflection, as I said, of the society too. I don't think we should really knock it in that sense, because it tells a story of reality of what's going on. Right.
And it's a certain amount of truth in it. That's how we feel.
Right.
You know, it's like a revolution.
Right.
Yeah, so it's real, and real art is good art.
Right, exactly. You can't discount that.
No. You know, it happens at different times. You know, in the mid 19th century and so on. You know, different parts of the world. You know, artists depict.
So, from your point of view, how do you see the music going today? Is it in a safe place with the new generation?
What you mean? Kind of
the music today, compared to the great jazz and blues and soul and funk.
As I said before, the great jazz and blues and things before reflected the music, the time.
Right.
We had what we call in the 50s and 60s, you know, a romantic period. You know, you listen to the songs, the lyrics and so on, it reflects, let's fall in love. And we had the World War II and things like that.
Right.
You know, people want to relax and be peaceful, want to find some kind of joy. Or I don't know what's the real attitude or values in the society that is creating this type of art form. You know, I think we should probably look at some of the painters' works and some of the writings, and to see if they gel together, because they usually gel in each age.
Let me ask you something. If the young person inspiring to be a musician today walk up to you and say, "Uncle T, I heard your stuff, heard your music, and what kind of inspiration can you give them?"
I would say that it's very good to listen to different forms of music. Classical music, jazz, gospel music. Listen to a variety of music. Because listening helps to create that feeling of creativity.
Right.
Creativity. So when we exposed to certain types of songs, musical forms, then it comes back out. It comes out of us.
Right.
Automatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let's, when your work is all said and done on God's green earth,
Yeah.
how would you like to be remembered?
Like one did give, I believe that, because remember I'm in education too, eh?
Right, right.
Educator,
right?
I taught here in Toronto for over 21 years. You know, I'd like to be remembered for the work I gave out in the arts.
Good, good.
Whether it was on the bandstand,
right,
or whether it was in the classroom. You know, that way I always remember that, you know, every day that there are kids who are grown men and women who are very successful.
Right.
In you know, from what I believe they have taught and learned.
All right, not too bad. I'm in the middle of
Yes.
an interview.
So
Call me back in
I think that
15, 20.
I'd like to remember that way.
Thank you.
For the work, you know, teaching.
Yes.
Teaching. As a matter of fact, in my time, I have given away a lot of guitars. When I get I feel like it's
right.
Have this.
Right. Inspire somebody.
Inspire. That's the best thing. What else is it? Giving.
But giving back.
Giving, man.
Yes.
Back, man.
Yeah. There's too many takers out there today.
Yeah, that's the most beautiful thing one can do with one's life.
Yeah.
Giving.
Giving back.
And what you have, and you can only give what you have.
Right.
You know. So, giving the music.
Right.
So these 3 albums is giving. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
These melodies this is my own compositions. All of them. They're not of anywhere else. They are my own compositions that came out from me, you know, from the inner, and I put it down. You see.
Right.
And
so what type of music you like to listen to?
Well, I listen to all types of music, but it has to do with the time, the moment.
Right.
The moment.
The moment.
Which is to say, if I feel like, so if I'm in the car and the music is coming through the radio, I will either put it up if I feel like I want to listen to this,
right,
or I take it off if I feel I do not want to listen to this.
Right, right.
So things about this word feelings is a very important word, interesting word.
Right.
Because it has to do with things that we don't even think about or understand.
Right.
Because it has to do with the time of the day, the time of the night, what's going on in your surroundings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know,
it's very philosophical.
I was watching a documentary on TVO, and the big powerweights were talking about music, the feelings,
yes,
the hook in the music, the bridge,
yes, how
they capture the audience, and the radio play and the marketing, and how it's so different from the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Well, I just play because of the love of playing. I'm retired and I play. If something comes out of it, it's fine. But I don't really play for to a particular reward.
Right.
My reward is for me when I play. You know, it's nice if people like the music and so on.
Well, we are embellishing your works as well, because when I first heard it, I said, this got to get some airplay.
Yeah.
I started telling people, we sold a few, and good music would not go untouched. As long as I hear that and I could get a hold of it.
You know what's interesting, Koolbreeze?
Yeah.
When I plan a tune, you start up with 4 notes.
Right.
Da 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 da. And from those 4 notes, you get a whole tune, a whole song.
Right.
Yeah, a whole song you get from those, starting with those 4 notes.
Right.
And when I'm finished with the work,
right,
when you count the bars, you get the 16 bars and you get the bridge, you get into 8 bars, and it comes automatically. And I was asking myself the question, how it happens? I believe it happens because of the amount of years playing the orchestration music in bands. So it naturally, you know, we count the bars, you have the chords, you have you count it.
right.
It comes up.
Okay.
So the experience helps you to do that. It just comes automatic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of automacy
Yeah.
in the arts. Now, if you're playing a piano, you can't think about the note that you're playing.
Right.
You know, you can't think about the note you play. If you think about the note you play, it will crash.
Okay, gotcha.
So the arts, especially music is the finest of the fine arts. You know?
Right, and then when you play that music, I'm trying to understand how you keep that in perfect pitch, meter.
Yeah. That too, but look, my little grandson, I bought a portrait for my grandson last week.
Right.
My grandson is just about the guitar 4.
Right.
He is 4, going into 5.
Okay.
Well, before we left the store, because I took him to the store,
Yeah.
he started to play, and he was playing on time. You're singing,
Wow.
and strumming the instrument on time.
Wow.
In the rhythm. The smaller brother too, who is just a toddler. I don't know, I'm not quite sure if he's 3 yet, but he's almost around 3.
Wow.
He is doing the same thing.
DNA. Music
Yes.
in the blood.
Yeah. The young children.
So, what do you recommend as kids growing up with music? As one starting earlier, or somebody starting in their late teens and so on?
Well, people can start at any stage.
What's the best?
But I think the best is around 7 years old, 7, 8 years old. When I say best, what I'm doing now with my grandson is having him play up, as we would say.
Right.
Get associated with strings and strumming.
Right.
It's not, the notes doesn't come yet. The musical, the theory and things like that, it's not going to come in now. Yeah. When he's around 7 or 8, I believe that that's the time that you can really, you know. But now, it's just like you're playing up at a ball, later on you're playing basketball. You see what I mean? Yeah, it's transferring, transferring, learning, you see.
Right.
And it starts at a young age, like 3 and 4 and 5, you know, you play with it.
Right. Let me ask you, if you had to change a few things about Carnival in Trinidad.
Oh, Carnival in Trinidad.
What would you do? Just to put you, Mr. Audley, to be ready. You head of state here, and you have creative control.
That's a very ticklish and sensitive subject in Trinidad and Tobago, the Carnival, because you see, long ago we did a lot of costumes, people covered up and so on, and things like that, mostly.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's the same thing with the music. The time changes, the culture changes,
right.
The society changes, and the norms are different.
Right.
We live in a very warm climate.
Right.
Sometimes I used to wonder how people can play, you know, these costumes that are so warm.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of problems. People call in and talk about the nudity,
right,
and things in costumes and masqueraders and things like that.
Right.
But the thing is, the important thing is the joy of playing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Anybody you want to send shout out to?
Hey,
the Radioregent.
Hey,
Koolbreeze.
Radioregent. Hi, Dave and Nick and Boot. Amamansa and Val and all of my kids out there. Mary, Frankie, my teacher's friend.
Right.
Frankie and my friend now started to play sax. My teacher friend, you know, because he with his experience with me on the guitar,
right,
and so on.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, hello, man. All the best. Check out Koolbreeze, man. Please check out Koolbreeze.
Thank you.
Regent Radio.
Any words of inspiration before we get back to your music? The people out there.
Well, the music is it's a love thing. If you listen to the music, you can hear the sentimentality, the romance.
Yes.
You know, and I love you all.
Yes. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for coming to Radioregent. It's an honor and a pleasure having you here.
Nice, man.
And I'm always going to remember this. And we're going to let the audience get into the groove with your new CD.
Yeah.
Okay. Just bear with me for a second.
Yes, man. It's a beautiful day too.
Yeah, that's good, man. I like that.